So let's get started. The situation we're faced with is a patient who is either in long-term care or is about to enter long-term care and who still has some assets. Obviously, if you don't have anything, you could go to Medicaid and get qualified right away, but there was nothing to save anyway. On the other hand, if you have some savings or other assets that need to be protected, it's a problem. What are the choices? Well, basically there are two. Option number one, you simply spend your money on expenses until you're broke, at which point you go to Medicaid. This is the choice that is usually made and typically by default. And of course, for most people in a nursing home, if you live long enough, you will run out of money. But of course, you don't need us to teach you how to run out of money. Then there's option number two, or what we call the Medicaid Asset Protection Plan, or MAP. So let's take the example of Mr. Black. He's 80 years old, lives in a nursing home, and has $240,000 in the bank. His monthly expenses, which would include not only his nursing home costs, but also his prescriptions, health insurance, and all other expenses, we'll assume to be $5,000 per month. His income consists of Social Security and pension totaling about $2,000 per month. That means he has a shortfall of $3,000 every month. So each and every month, he has to go into his savings to the tune of $3,000 to make up the difference between his income and his outgo. So the only question now is, who's going to live longer, Mr. Black or Mr. Black's money? Mr. Black desires to pass his hard-earned estate on to his son. But if he lives long enough, there'll be nothing left for the son. Mr. Black will be broke and on Medicaid, and the son will have nothing. So what is he to do? Well, as it turns out, the son figures he knows how to protect that $240,000. He simply has Dad write him a check for $240,000. Bingo! Dad's broke and now eligible for Medicaid. Aha! Not so quick. As we've already learned, if that were to occur, we have an uncompensated transfer, which would be punished with a fairly long period of disqualification. Mr. Black and his son are going to have to come up with a better strategy than that. So what is the best strategy for preserving assets under the Deficit Reduction Act rules? Well, that depends on the specific situation. If you're not yet in care, you could transfer all your assets with the expectation, or should we say the hope, that you would not need care for at least 5 years. Anytime after 5 years, should you need care, you could then apply for Medicaid and the transfers would not be part of the Medicaid application process, as they'd be outside the 5-year look-back period. If, on the other hand, like Mr. Black, you're already in care, you could hang on to enough money to cover the estimated cost of care for 5 years and give the rest away, planning to apply for Medicaid in 5 years. In Mr. Black's case, with a shortfall of $3,000 per month, he would have to hang on to at least $180,000 to cover the 5 years, leaving only $60,000 to give to his son. Of course, if he ran out of money before the 5 years were up, then the son would have to be in a position to return some of the transferred assets in order to pay for care. And depending on how much Dad's care cost increased over the years, the son might very well end up with nothing at all. For the great majority of folks, covering 5 years of care would leave little or nothing protected. Yet that's exactly what most people believe, that the only way you can protect assets is to give everything away and then wait 5 years. But as we've seen, for most people, that's just not going to work. So let's take a look at a couple of strategies for really protecting assets.
In the MAP video, you will learn about the specific strategies that will enable you to protect your assets from Medicaid. For example, when Mr. Black qualifies for Medicaid, he will have transferred and permanently protected over $160,000 of his $240,000 savings. All of this because the family was able to take the correct actions at the right times, based on the education provided in the Medicaid Asset Protection Plan video. We are dedicated to helping families protect their hard-earned assets. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us on our toll-free Medicaid helpline at 1-866-334-2243.